This week, we bring you breaking news from Super Dirt Week as a new driver heads to the Moody Mile. And the Super Dirt Series Tour tries to slow Super Matt north of the border. The World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series was in Chico, California for another crown jewel. And the UMP late models put it all on the line for the World 100 at Eldora. This and more next on 4 Wide Weekly. We begin this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly with breaking news from Super Dirt Week 40 at the New York State Fairgrounds. October 5th through 9th, a new face will be hitting the Moody Mile behind the wheel of the Barnaby Motorsports #2 Big Block Modified. Ted Christopher, a modified and super modified racing standout on the asphalt, will be taking his first crack at dirt racing on the toughest stage possible, attempting to qualify for the 40th annual SEF 200. Chris Dolak, Vice President of Media and Public Relations at the World Racing Group, had a chance to check in with Christopher about his most recent motorsports endeavor.
First of all, how'd the deal come about to come race a dirt car over at Syracuse?
Well, I wanted to in the past, but never got the opportunity. Then I drove for those guys that owned this car, the Barnabys, when they ran the dirt cars on the road course in New Jersey, and we won that race. So, they talked about going to Syracuse. He asked me about a month ago if I'd be interested, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be interested.
See, you've got, I was looking, but I didn't see where you don't have any experience on that particular mile. What would your expectation be then?
I hope it slicks over like asphalt, which I see. I watch it every year, And when it's easy like asphalt, or when it gets black like asphalt, it looks like it's a lot better for me than it would be for anybody else.
As far as is racing there, you're going to come in, and I was trying to figure out the best way to word it, but you're almost coming in as an outsider because you've got guys like Hearn and Shepard. So how would you expect those guys to treat you then?
Okay, treat me any way they want. Oh, I'm definitely an outsider for sure. There ain't no two ways about that.
I'm just curious as to these guys that race this deal week in, week out all year long, and then they get to the biggest event, and here comes a guy who's basically a superstar.
I don't know about that. Those guys are superstars in that division. I mean, I hope they do well in it, but that type of race, I think you look at it, it's more, you got to run good, but it's a big strategy race. It seems, people with fuel mileage, people with, just getting to the end of it is an accomplishment, it seems.
Obviously, you perform so well in everything that you've driven, so I would imagine your expectation level is quite high. But is there a little bit of an unknown element that makes this a little bit more of a, not a challenge, but a little bit, put some butterflies back in your stomach, maybe?
Oh, yeah, it will. Yeah, because that place is pretty fast. But I've been 190 miles an hour, so, speed doesn't really bother me.
What do you think the fan reaction would be, or will be, when people hear that you're going to be there?
I don't know. I hope it's good. I'm going to go and hopefully do the best I can. A lot of it's car preparation, too, and stuff. That car that we ran was a car that they ran at Syracuse. It's been there before, so I guess it was a pretty trick piece when it went, there. So, it should be good for that place. I don't know. I've watched Blaney go good there and stuff, and he's done dirt before, so, he has experience of dirt. But, the years I've watched in the past, it seems like they don't really get as totally jacked sideways as they used to. If it does slick over if it does get rubbered up pretty good. So, where I looked at it when it's like that, it's like, I said, well, that would be more in tune for me as far as a driver because, then it goes more towards my experience, which is asphalt.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see Teddy Christopher's dirt debut this October 5th through the 9th. Don't miss it, Super Dirt Week 40 at the New York State Fairgrounds. In the meantime, the Super DIRTcar Series still in action, and they were at Drummond on Saturday night with Billy Decker and Danny Johnson going at it early on, with Decker getting the advantage. With Billy out in front, eventually Johnson would get a handful of competitors chasing him, including Matt Shepard in the 9S and Steve Bernard in the 54 on the outside of the racetrack. Johnson would eventually fade in the 27J, giving Bernard the second spot, Shepard riding in third, and look, just behind, Brett the Jet Hearn and the Plankinator, Dale Plank, getting in on it as well, going into corner number 3. But as the race pressed on, once again Shepard proved to be the favorite, pulling to the low side, splitting the lap car out of corner number number 4, Shepard will take the lead. Plank tried to chase down the race leader in the closing stages, but it was Shepard streaking across the line to pick up the victory. Welcome to Canada, Shepard gets his 4th Super DIRTcar Series win of the season. Plank comes home in second ahead of Jimmy Phelps, Decker, and Sebastian Goujon. Shepard now holds a 76-point advantage over Decker in the championship standings. The Super DIRTcar Series next in action this Saturday at Mohawk International Raceway. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly.
For nearly 4 decades, thousands have gathered at New York State Fairgrounds, awestruck as dirt racing legends race towards immortality. Start freezing! At Syracuse, October 5th through 9th is the 40th annual Super Dirt Week.
Danny's in the wall!
Make your plans now for an unforgettable experience. Tickets and remaining campsites on sale now at SuperDirtWeekOnline.com.
Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. Friday night for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, it was night number 1 of the 58th Annual Gold Cup Race of Champions from Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico, California. And it was California native Paul McMahon bringing the field to green in the 83, followed up by the 121 of Shane Golovic. But further back, Brad Sweet in the Red Bull number 9, he gets loose in corner number 4, collecting Donnie Schatz, Craig Delansky, and others. On the restart, McMahon again pulls out into the race lead in the 83. Golovic files into second, Kemena in third. But look at Jason Myers. He pulls to the middle part of the racetrack, pulling around Kemena down the back chute, then tucks in ahead of Golovic into corner number 3. On the race's final lap, the 2 California drivers go at it down the back straightaway. Myers trying to close in turn 3, but it was the Elk Grove native Paul McMahon coming across the line to pick up the night number 1 win at the Gold Cup. It was McMahon's 4th win of the 2011 season. Myers in second, Golovic in third, Kemena came home 4th, Jonathan Allard rounded out the top 5. Night number 2 of the Gold Cup on Saturday night with $50,000 on the line to the winner of the grand finale here in Chico, California. Kyle Larson, the youngster, just 19 years old, brings the field to green off the pole position ahead of the 7S of Double Down, Jason Sides. Further behind, Jack Hoddenchild filling in for Shane Stewart pulls into position number 4. It was a battle between Larson and Sides for the entire distance, lap 1 through lap 40. And the California kid in the 99 here on the race's final lap keeps that machine tucked to the inside. Larson not only looking for his first win in the Gold Cup, but his first ever World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series win comes true Saturday night at Chico, California's Silver Dollar Speedway. Larson climbs atop the wing in victory lane, pocketing $50,000. Sides came home second, Andy Gregg a great run in third, the Wild Child came home in 4th, Craig Delansky in the top 5. Larson, who has been on a streak as of late in short track open wheel racing, was elated to pick up this victory.
I'm speechless right now. I've been coming to this race since I was 2 months old, and to get the win here and when I'm 19 and I think my 5th try, it's an awesome feeling, and be a local California kid to win this race, it's great for all the California fans and for all my family and friends. So it's just an awesome feeling, and I just got to give it to my crew tonight. Clark, he did a great job and had the car perfect there for the feature. I only had to roll the wing back an inch, so he had it pretty much dead on from the start. And it's Billy Albini's birthday today, so to get him a win and a Gold Cup win at that, it's got to be a great birthday present for him.
The Outlaws weren't done yet. On Monday, they moved to Antioch Speedway in Antioch, California for their 3rd race in 4 days. And it was Lucas Wolf pulling out into the race's early lead in the 5W. Wolf looked to have the field covered until Andy Gregg, a lap car, loses it in turn 3. Wolf makes contact and unfortunately takes him out of the race's lead. Sammy Swindell would be involved as well. With Craig Delansky out in front, Kyle Larson, your Gold Cup winner, he started 14th. He began to make his move through the field. After going by both Sides and Allard, Larson now moves to the high side of Tim Kading before ducking to the inside of Brad Sweet into corner number 3. The only car left in his sights, The 11 of Steve Kinzer, the 7 of Craig Delansky. Larson goes to the high side of Kinzer. Kinzer feels the pressure, pulls to the inside of Delansky to take the race lead into corner number 1. Delansky, though, would catch a right rear of a lap car and pummels the outside wall in corner number 1. It would end the day for Delansky, as Kinzer would then pull away from the field on the race's restart to pull down his 8th win of the 2011 World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series season, tying him with Craig Delansky. Larson, another great run in second ahead of Kading, Sweet, and Jason Sides.
Yeah, everything went pretty good. We moved up the dash a little bit and got us to the striking condition. I was right there with Craig and got by him, and then he got it. I don't know what happened. He got in a lap car in 1 and 2, but we'd already cleared him, got by him, so I think it was all right. But then we had an open track for the last 4 laps, and it allowed us to get it there into the victory lane, and that's what it's all about right now.
Steve Kinzer now closes in further on the championship point lead, just 75 behind Jason Myers. The Outlaws next in action this weekend at Clay County and Deer Creek Speedways. We'll be back with more next, right here on 4 Wide Weekly.
Dirt racing's most celebrated stars. An electrifying atmosphere. Glory-filled heroics. A spectacle unlike any other. It's the World of Outlaws World Finals. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte as the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, Late Models, and Super Dirt Big Block Modifieds converge for one mind-blowing weekend. 3-day reserve seat packages, including your free pit pass, are on sale now at CharlotteMotorspeedway.com. November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Dirt Track at Charlotte.
Welcome back to this week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly. Saturday night, the UMP Late Models were in action at Eldora Speedway for the 41st Annual World 100, arguably the biggest event in late model racing, paying $100,000 to the race winner. Chris Smokey Madden and Mac Daddy Dale McDowell would bring the field to green, with Madden pulling out into the race's early lead in the 44. But it was clear that Jimmy Owens was the man on the move. The Newport Nightmare out of Tennessee takes the race lead from Madden out of corner number 4. Josh Richards, second in World of Outlaws points, was steadily charging his way through the field, going to the low side of Don O'Neill, but Richards has nowhere to go in turn number 4 after Dale McDowell gets into the outside wall. Those two drivers would come together, taking them out of contention for the win. With Jimmy Owens out in front, Darrell Lanigan began to make his move in the 29 machine, making a bid for the race lead out of turn 2, but Don O'Neill quickly threw his hat into the ring as well. A tremendous 3-car battle for the race's lead in the closing laps, but eventually the 28 of Eddie Carrier Jr. would get in the mix as well. Lanigan and O'Neill make contact. Carrier shoots the gap down the back straightaway to take the runner-up spot. On the race's final lap, Carrier gives it one last-ditch effort for the lead out of turn 4, but it's Jimmy Owens getting his second World 100 victory at Eldora Speedway. Carrier in second, O'Neill in third, Lanigan fourth, John Blankenship comes home in fifth. In this week's 4Wide.tv Power Rankings, feature winners Jimmy Owens, Matt Shepard, and Steve Kinzer lead the way at the top of the list. Darrell Lanigan ranked 4th this week. Your Gold Cup Race of Champions winner Kyle Larson in 5th. UMP Late Model standout Ryan Unzicker once again makes it into the top 10. Be sure to tune in to next week's edition of 4 Wide Weekly as the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series heads back east to Clay County and Deer Creek Speedways. The World of Outlaws Late Models take on I-55, and the Super DIRTcar Series Big Blocks head to Mohawk.